The July 11th meeting of the Conservation Commission. Call this meeting to order at 6:32. All right, first we'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so roll call. We got a new member, Ben?
Rob,
I'm sorry. Off to a good start. Gary?
Yep.
Fred? Jason?
present.
Joan?
Present.
Mike?
Here.
George?
Present.
And John?
Yeah.
Great, thanks. So the only person we're missing is Diane.
She's at a concert at Foxwoods.
Yeah. All right, so
Don't know
that
who it is.
leaves us with appointment of alternate. How many do we have here for full? 1, 2, 3.
I think we're full.
6. Yeah, we're full.
We have 6, we can have 7. Well, oh, but we need,
You have,
because.
Who are the alternates?
Fred's a member now, right?
yes. Oh, actually, Fred, have you been sworn in
As a member?
Sworn that.
as a full-time member?
No,
If the
Okay.
New appointment papers.
So we'll have to do that. So,
I don't think so.
6, so you can have 7 members. 'Cause
So you can
Diane's
either
missing.
appoint one
so
of these
can
two.
we appoint Fred?
Yeah,
Hey, Fred, would you be willing to
Yes.
be a voting member tonight? All right, thank you. All right, so first we have public input for related to non-agenda items, which I don't see anybody here for that. So first item for new business is the Tellerico subdivision for the conservation land deed. Reggie, would you like to?
I could give a little bit of background, Mr. Chair. So if you remember several months ago, we had a vote here at the commission to acquire, what would be the term, Joan? We're not really acquiring, but,
Manage?
yeah, being bequeathed, maybe the word. The back 40 of the Tellerico subdivision. If you look at the map here, you've got Pearson Street, you've got the Tellerico subdivision. The plan was to take the extra land out back, can't remember the acreage on it, and turn that over to the Conservation Commission, and also turn over one of the other pieces of property that's in the middle, I think that was about 5 acres or something like that,
Off the top of my head.
to the Conservation Commission as well. Reggie provided to us a little while ago a draft deed. And I think Joan and I looked at it and provided just some general comments to it. That got sent back to Reggie. Reggie then incorporated those comments. He gave the deed back to us, so now it's in front of us for approval. And then I think after this would then have to go to the town administrator and then to our legal to take a look at it.
and to the selectmen, to town administrators, to the
Eventually to the Board of Selectmen, yeah.
Would it make sense to send it to legal now, let it get reviewed? Because I'm sure they're gonna have some changes, I would think. It's kind of, not shortcut it, but make it be more.
Yeah, well, I
efficient.
think that's the first step after tonight, right, after we get in our comments.
Okay.
What date do you have on the bottom of yours?
6:20.
Yeah, that's right, okay.
Reggie did send an update today. I printed these out before the update. I didn't look, but I don't think there's really many substantive changes to it. The one thing I did have a comment to Reggie on is that the deed is to the town of Litchfield Conservation Commission. I don't know, I think it actually goes to the town of Litchfield.
Right.
To be managed by the Conservation Commission.
So there was a new copy that was sent over today after Jason shared that with me, that incorporated that language.
Okay.
It was sent over by email, so please share that, and if that makes more sense, I'm fine with using that, so if you want to send
Okay.
whichever one but I wanted to make sure that we complied with something that was already accepted, and apparently that's been used before, so I figured it'd be just as easy to, correct the one that you have in front of you now, to incorporate that where we know the language has been utilized before in this type of transfer.
Now, I don't know if this has been changed, under access on page 3, number 11, it says, members of the general public shall not have access to the property for any purpose unless allowed by the grantee.
That's you.
Right, but we would have to have a sign that the general public is allowed. That'd be just out of there.
I would think so. I think this gives us the option, if it ever had to be closed for some reason.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I think we would plan to put a kiosk there anyways to be able to open it up and document the trails, let people know where they can go and
Okay.
they're not allowed to.
And we're also talking tonight about the declaration of covenants and restrictions for the fishing game wanted? Or no?
What was that?
Are we talking about this one tonight? It's dated 6/6.
Declaration.
Of covenants and restrictions, I believe that's what fishing game wanted, right?
So that's
I think
different.
the deed,
That's
That's
different.
different than-
no, what happened was originally, the attorney assumed that you weren't gonna be taking title to it, and it was gonna be a homeowners association.
Oh,
So that document's void now.
this one?
Yes, the declaration of covenants and restrictions, because
Oh.
it's now deeded to you. The homeowners really have to play by your rules and not by any homeowners association as it relates to that piece of
What
land.
about all the items that fishing game wanted, is that, are
That's
they
all
in here?
incorporated, yeah, it all
Oh,
should be in the
okay.
deed, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Matt, maybe I'll just like breeze through it and see if we have any.
Yeah, sure.
Questions?
Did anybody have any other comments that have read it?
No, it looked
Yeah,
like
so
we
why
could
don't
put,
we
we
do
could
it?
put a kiosk in there, we can do trail maintenance, forestry, we can drive the four-wheeler down there because it's for, so,
You can move
Yep.
trails, which is important, so if you get another piece alongside it and you need to make access, you can do that. You can add bridges if you need to, so it gives you
Funds for
the
that?
greatest amount of flexibility is what I thought you guys might want, so.
Yep. yeah, I saw no issues with it.
I'll just buzz through it real
Okay.
quick. So conservation purposes, I thought this looked good. Use limitations, Reggie, there's just like a little bit of a typo under 2. No structure improvements shall be constructed, placed, or introduced onto the protected open space, including but not limited to the construction of roadways. Get rid of the word or, just, comma dwellings, comma tennis courts.
Gotcha.
New trails may be added, existing trails closed, open, pedestrian bridges, wetlands crossings, cooled air, other structures consistent with and designed to enhance safety, knowledge and access to the public may be added. I don't know what's meant by knowledge, but we'll let our legal team figure that one out. Advertising structures, we talked about this, it allows us to put a kiosk in there. No dumping, burning, burial of snow. Can't remove, fill, disturb the soil, that's typical stuff, right, Joan?
Right, except I would like something in there about, changes to powder surfaces, subsurface water systems, wetlands, natural habitat, something should be in there about, removing plant material. So I'm sure there's lady slippers out there, and there is a large, collection of mountain laurel that should not be
Mountain law, yeah,
disturbed.
there are.
See if that's covered.
I thought maybe there was something in there at that.
Yep. I think it was up here, no structure improvements.
Identify.
So look at 5. Oh,
Would
that's
that be
in,
considered material or?
I think we should be
no,
specific
removing,
about plant
filling,
life.
or other disturbances of soil surface. To me, that covers digging up plants.
Okay.
Anybody else?
That cover metal detecting?
And it says you can't change, it says,
Only if you get permission.
nor any changes in topography, surface or subsurface water system, wetlands, or natural habitat. So,
Okay,
natural habitat could be considered,
plant life,
plant life, I would believe.
okay.
What was that?
It's the last part of 5,
Of
Okay.
right before the colon. You know, before number I,
Does that include
yeah, number I.
metal detecting?
We were just talking about that. Whatever.
Well, we'll have to add that to the,
Rat hole.
That would be under the metal detecting policy, but I don't think,
The way the policy's written, you have to say, your feedback is gonna be relevant to the board to give whether they grant it or not. If you say no, it's no.
we hope.
I would hope, but I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. And obviously, you have to have a valid reason why you're doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
just going down here, forestry management may be performed is 6. 7, vegetation management may be performed. 8, restrictions shall not be amended or overturned except by consent of the grantee, which is us.
Right.
Correct.
Going down to 9, can't be subdivided. 10, grantee and its authorized agent shall have the right to enter the protected space for wildlife surveys. We can enter it anyway.
It's yours to do what you want with.
D is getting in the boilerplate.
Anybody have any other comments? All right, so with those minor edits, were you gonna take care of those? and
I'll
then-
take care of that one edit, yeah, the, get rid of the or in number 2.
Yeah, and then you said you already corrected to grant me the town of Lynn.
If you look, if you look at the new one, I put that language that Jason had said.
Yeah,
that
let's
was
just check
previously
that
used.
out real quick, because that's important. Okay, there it is. It's gonna be the top line here. Joan, this would be for you. So I was looking at the Musterfield deed.
Yeah,
And just to take a snapshot of what the Musterfield deed said, which said, owned by the town of Litchfield, managed by the Conservation Commission.
yeah.
And I took like a screenshot of that and I sent it to Reggie, and I think that's what's in here.
Well, it says town of Litchfield by the Litchfield doesn't say managed by.
I think that's
Yeah,
what it,
below it, Joan, if you keep going, to be managed and controlled by the Litchfield Conservation Commission with warranty covenants.
so it says grants to the town of Litchfield by the Litchfield Conservation Commission pursuant to 36A, as approved by the Board of Selectmen, to be managed by and controlled by the Litchfield
Oh, okay.
Conservation Commission. I'm assuming with warranty covenants for that certain tract of land.
Okay,
If they like one over the other, just let me know, and we can.
I'm sure the lawyers will make a change to
Yeah,
it.
they always do. Gotta
They
get paid for
they
something.
gotta earn their money, right?
All right, and I think we're good. Thanks for coming in, Reggie.
So I think, do we have to take a motion on this, Joan?
Can I just,
Uh-oh.
sorry, I might have, on axis, can we go back to axis number 10? So, just I just want to be clear. It says the foregoing access rights shall not include vehicular access except in connection with forestry management activities conducted in accordance with all of the provisions of the declaration, and not to be exercised except in the event of emergency or as prudent forestry management activities dictate, for normal inspection visits not more frequently than 2 times a year. Does that mean we can only bring a vehicle in there 2 times a year? Like, is building a trail, normal forestry activities? Do you know what I'm curious, can we go in there with a vehicle more than twice a year?
A vehicle would mean an ATV or
I would
little
assume anything
Kubota
with a motor
tractor.
on it, is what I would assume.
What did you say, Reg?
I would assume anything with a motor on it is probably gonna be considered
Yeah,
in that
because you had to
category.
clean up stuff that, whatever,
That people,
Yeah.
like, sort of like we did today.
like tires.
Right. So I'm just wondering, are we restricted to only 2 motorized vehicles a year?
That said, for normal inspection visits,
Yeah, the other thing, keep in mind is, as the grantee, you have the right to give yourself permission to do what you wanna do.
For maintenance?
So,
yeah, it says for forestry management activities,
Yeah.
so that would be, cover the trail maintenance and everything. It is a little confusing, so we might have to just clarify that. I think it's 2 times a year for inspections.
Yeah, yeah.
But if a tree falls across the path or something,
Yeah, that would go under
Yeah,
the
maintenance.
Oh, okay, so that double I is only only talks about inspections. So,
So maybe we just, can we just strike the 2 times any calendar year?
Sure.
yeah,
I think that would cover it.
yeah, if we could get rid of that, just,
so why restrict it if you don't need to, right?
yeah, sorry. And I apologize for missing that earlier, but I think we should get it stricken.
you've been pulling tires out of the river all day. We'll cut you a break.
Yeah.
That's in number 10, right?
I think we
Number
need a
10.
Yeah,
motion.
number 10.
Number 10, II.
But we'll do a motion just in case. All right, do we have a motion to, I guess, we just approving wording for the grant, right, so that it can go up to the next step?
And then sending it to town council? Town council. At this point.
I'll get the revised document over to you tomorrow, Matt, and Jason and John.
Someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that okay, how do we word this?
We accept the
To
wording.
accept the,
Approve the wording, we approve the wording of the grant with
The amendments.
with the stated revisions,
okay,
and move to send this up to the town administrator and town council for legal review.
sounds good to me.
Second.
All right.
So Harry made the motion,
I
George
seconded.
second?
Yeah.
John
John.
second.
Move it along.
All right, thanks, Reggie.
You're welcome.
Oh, wait, we have to vote.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
So wait a second, you won't be able to vote and George won't be able to, sorry, George.
It's all right, so can it just be show of hands, or does it have to be roll call?
No, show of
Okay,
hands.
I'm sorry, George?
Show of hands.
Okay, show of hands for who approves?
Aye.
All right, we got 7-0-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Reggie. All right, next item on the agenda is land preservation strategy update. So Jason distributed an updated copy. So this is basically for the Conservation Commission, what our land
Yeah.
preservation strategy is, covers our goals, our priorities, and, there was a lot of effort put into the document. It's pretty well done. So for the newer members, if you haven't read it yet, please do. But Jason, would you like to share the tweaks that you made?
Copy here. So for the folks that are new, a couple of years ago, we put together this land preservation strategy. The goal of the strategy was to kind of set the framework for how we would acquire property and what the characteristics of the property would be that we would acquire. This was completely developed in-house over a period of about 2 months. And it was completed in, I think it was September of 2022. We made this statement back then that we would like to update this every year or two. So it's been a couple of years, and one of the goals this year was to update it. So I went ahead and just updated the strategy based on the things that we've been talking about over the past few months. What I'll do is just kind of like go through it real quick. So I think what the intention is, everybody's got a copy, read through it, and maybe at the next meeting, we can approve it. But I wouldn't mind just like flipping through real quick, just to give you a rundown of what I changed, and just to give you an overview of the document itself. The high-level changes, they were minimal, but I basically made two changes, two significant changes. Number one was adding in a statement in here that if the town ever comes up with an overall master plan, that this plan should dovetail in with it. That would be number one. And then number two, we have a map in there that shows the areas that we're interested in. I actually removed areas that would be considered optimal for economic development, so we don't have any conflicts there. The one thing about this document that's important, especially from the Board of Selectmen angle, what we didn't do, and it was done on purpose, is that we did not list specific properties that we're interested in here. It's not fair to the folks that are out there that own property, and, you know, we're kind of targeting you. What this does is it provides guidance on the types of properties that we would go after, and it actually has a decision matrix in there that helps us decide on if two properties came up at once, how we would rank and prioritize.
And that's section 8, right?
Excuse me?
That's section 8?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So if I just flip through here real quick, there's an introduction that outlines the report goals. That's section 1. Section 2 kind of highlights those goals, and there's 10 that we decided on. I didn't make any changes to these. Section 3 gives a little bit, a map of the existing town conservation properties that we have right now, the major ones. Section 4, I did make some changes in here. In 2022, we did a poll out to 235 citizens responded to the poll, and we asked questions about conservation. The results of that poll is in here. But if you turn the page, in 2024, there was an economic development poll done, and it polled a lot of people when we had voting in March. There were a couple of questions in there that kind of related to conservation, so I pulled those questions out and inserted them here. And you can kind of see what the results are. So that's just informational purposes only. Section 5 outlines methods for conserving land. We can purchase it. There's conservation easements. There's, open space development. There's many different means, and this just lists them out. Section 6 provides an overview of all of the different types of funding that's available for acquiring conservation property, and provides links to the different grant opportunities that are available out there. So if we ever, we've used a couple of these already. So that's all available there. Section 7 kind of gets into the meat of it. Those little icons there show, based on what we discussed, what our land preservation priorities are, and they include protecting historic land, wetlands, wildlife and habitat, character of the town. When we're purchasing property, it would be good if they're adjacent or near other conservation lands. The sixth one, the third one on the second line, I added in dovetail with the town's overall master plan if one gets developed. And then the bottom three are, it's beneficial if they're on 3A, on the river, and publicly accessible. So those are all like our check boxes. Section 8, as John mentioned, key areas of focus. I actually adjusted the map. I just went ahead and did it and throw it out there on the table. the red line used to go all the way to the Hudson border. Down there is zone commercial, so I kind of pulled that line up to make it consistent with the town zoning.
And that's all the land from when they wanted to have the bridge.
Circumvental, yeah.
originally,
Yep.
right?
Convention.
Section 9, this is essentially, John, that's basically the decision matrix right here.
Okay.
So, kind of like a Rubik's Cube type of thing. We look at the location, is it high, medium, or low? We look at the property characteristics that we just discussed, how many boxes does it check? And then we take a look at the cost, and you can see the nice little thumbs up, thumbs down there. And that helps us make decisions. And then I think lastly, or close to last, section 10 just outlines recommendations that we've had. And I adjusted a couple of these sections to highlight the dovetailing in with economic development and zoning. So that's it.
Good job.
So what I'd like to do is if you guys can peruse through this, and then maybe the next month we can get a vote to give it a thumbs up or thumbs down, and we'll stick it in folder 4.
While we're on this topic, could I mention something on land acquisitions? Do you think it would be a wise choice for us to talk to the selectmen in non-public about different areas that we're highly interested in and where we have sent landowner letters, but we haven't heard anything back? Just so they know, just so they know those are the areas that we might be interested in.
So you stole my thunder, that was gonna be an ask, right? Because obviously the board had a conversation about the circumventional, we sent a memo that we thought was just informational. Let us know what you guys are thinking, we're trying to do this, we wanna do it in concert. I think the blowout that we saw about it was surprising. So we're just asking,
Was what surprising?
the negative feedback we received, a bunch of different things that happened, was somewhat surprising. I mean, if the board had voted to do, deny you the right to do anything, that would have been different. We were trying to say, hey, we wanna work together collaboratively. A master plan is something we have to think about. They've not done it, we need to do something, right?
But that memo was just talking about the circumferential land, wasn't it?
It really, that's what was the catalyst of it was, but I also think there's probably a little gray area that says, let us know else what you're thinking about doing, because it may impact what we're trying to do too as an overall master plan. I think we've already made a bunch of decisions around zoning, and I think the zoning was done originally to deal with the circumventional down there. That's why we did what we did back then.
Right.
That land is gonna come back, and I think the town wants to make sure that it lines up with what our economic goals are and what the town overall goals are. So, like I said, I was surprised by the emails that we received and stuff
Well, I
like that.
guess it was,
but-
people thought the selectmen didn't want us to talk to the state about anything, but I think it was just about the circumferential, because there are people working to try to talk to the state about, does the state know what they own down there?
Well, so the town is talking to the state about what they think, what they own, so I think the town wants to be that catalyst, or the conduit to the state about what we're thinking and what they're thinking, right? Because the state may have plans for that land too that we don't know anything about, right? There's needs for natural gas coming in, there's water needs, there's stuff like that they may keep that land and not make it available to anybody, but, so, I think it's a great idea, I think the board will welcome, an inside scoop of what you have been either pre-planning and talking to residents about, or homeowners about, or
But,
property
and I
owners.
think it would be okay in non-public, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't want,
Yeah,
developers to know what we're
yeah,
interested in.
I couldn't imagine why it wouldn't be okay, but obviously, we'll bring it forward and say we wanna have that meeting and we'll set it up.
Yeah. So John, will you take that action?
I'll take it and get it on the agenda
And I
and
think we can pretty much
share that with us too.
walk in with this.
Yeah,
And then we also, earlier, before John came on board, it might have been last year, we actually laid the map out on the table.
Yep.
And we stuck dots on the map where things that would be nice to have at some point in time, if it ever came up, and if the landowners, you wanted to go in that direction.
but that one that we did send the landowner letter and we never heard anything back, that should be brought up. I mean, we have a couple specific pieces
Yeah.
that we could talk about in non-public.
Yeah.
Nothing significant, though. I mean, there's nothing
Yeah,
that,
Right, right.
like,
I think the big goal is the board wants to work in concert with the rest of the commissions and committees, right? You're basically adjuncts of all of us anyway, and we need to work together.
Right.
And, we're not trying to step on someone's toe and say you can't do A, B, C, and D, but we would just like to have at least the right to refuse or say don't because here's why, and this is why we think it's different, right?
But you should be aware of everything that's been done already too, right? So,
Yeah, I think it'll be good, and I think the board would appreciate it, and I think this document would help clarify at least the decision makers, the decision criteria you go through when you look at a piece of land.
That makes sense. I think what the letter that went out, I think it was missing a word, or there was two paragraphs that if they were joined into one, it would have been fine, but it kind of sounded like it said, don't talk to the state about this piece of property, and oh, by the way, if there's any other piece of property that you're ever interested in, don't talk to anybody unless you come to us first. That's what it kind of sounded like, and I think that's where,
We went
Went
back
off
and
the
we
rails.
went through a bunch of edits and toning it down and kind of making it sound cleaner and.
Chat GPT is your friend.
That's who I used to do it. Sorry. So, at the end of the day, tone is tone, and I don't think, again, it wasn't meant to be. I mean, if you watched the meeting that this all transpired for, the direction that was going would have been more draconian than just the memo. It was really an informational thing, so, and I think that's why we did what we did, so. But we learned from the lesson, we'll keep on trying to readjust. We're all in this together, so.
In a marketing department.
We need just more staff in general, but that ain't happening either.
all right, anything else on the land preservation strategy? All right, I'd like to skip ahead on the agenda a little bit too. Steve Normanton's here. We need to talk about, the community garden and the water supply. Steve, if you'd like to
I have
to come up.
want me to hand these copies out?
Yeah, so Steve has, lent us
Two,
the,
three.
water trailer that we've been using to supply
I have
water for the community garden. But he has a need to,
I got the email.
You're good.
bring that back to use for his farming purposes. So, it brings up, an urgent need for us to address what we're doing for water at the garden. So Steve has been working on, compiling some recommendations for us for how we can put an irrigation system into the community garden, as well as, what it would take to do that. So this would be, instead of trailing the water, we'd have a supply, at the community garden where we draw water from the stream, fill a tank, and then we'd like to, instead of people having to use water buckets and stuff like that, actually provide some real irrigation piping to be able to distribute the water around the garden, assuming that we have 9 plots this year, assuming that we're gonna expand it. We're gonna need a more permanent source for the water. So Steve put together some recommendations on equipment that they think we need to do that, which includes the supplies that he has listed in the spreadsheet that we distributed.
Is that
You
this?
can do that. Maybe start off with a picture first, so we
Okay.
get everybody on speed.
Picture's the second one, yeah.
So that right there, that's the community garden. We have how many? 9 plots?
Nine plots.
9
currently.
plots that are in this vicinity right here.
While you have the picture up there, see how the trees are shadowing that side of the garden, where the garden is? The garden should really be on the other side, the north
Well,
side.
that's getting to some more of a.
Just thought I'd throw that in.
recommendations, too.
He does have a layout, if you
Yeah,
go back to
we
the
weren't
email.
able
Yeah, it's
to
in the
bring up
email.
the picture for some reason. We can only
me-
bring up like the.
You can if you open it in Google Docs, so
Let's see.
Oh.
go to that one.
So I tried.
No, click on the Google Docs, go down, that one right there.
Just thinking about it.
Just thinking. Go,
Oh, it's the
go, go.
Chromebook, right?
Don't hate the Chromebook.
Yeah.
Chromebook's not.
Chromebook.
compatible with that.
It's just a Chrome browser.
Look at
No, it just doesn't have
286.
one.
All right, where do I zoom in here?
Yeah, that was
Where it says
Oh,
100%?
there it is. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, so Steve, did you want to talk to?
Yeah, sure. So,
You wanna
just
use
for
that
those that-
pointer?
Yeah, sure. For those that don't know me, I'm Steve Normanton Farms down the road there. I'm also a board member of the New Hampshire Agrarian Commons, which is the owner of the land at 226 Charles Bancroft Highway opposite the Griffin Memorial School. And that part of that land, or this land specifically, the town holds the conservation easement for this piece of land, and the state owns the agricultural easement for the rest of the farm. Anyway, what we're dealing with here is it's a very sandy piece of soil with very little organic matter in the soil, and so my proposal to the community garden is that over the next couple of years we've got to build up the organic matter in the soil, because it'll help with water retention and so on and so forth. But in order to do that, we need some kind of watering system available to the farm. Currently the lots are all over here, and as Joan pointed out, you know, there's a lot of shading, which is not ideal. So the proposed new area would be there, possibly with some extension there, and do some other things around the perimeter. Over here is a stand of black locust trees. I don't know if they're considered invasive in here. They're really great for making fence posts. They last up to 40 years in the ground. But they're nice trees, and they also are legumes, so they actually put nitrogen into the soil, believe it or not. Anyhow, the Nessencare kind of meanders around the property kind of down this way. So there are a couple of potential places for a pumping station. A pumping station would probably be, what I've recommended is a 5 horsepower gasoline pump engine with a suction hose. These things we'd probably get from Brookdale Irrigation over in Hollis. They are probably the most cost effective, and they supplied all the things for my irrigation system on the farm. I think they supply Wilson's. I wouldn't be surprised if McQuestion's have used them for supplies as well. So there'd be a pump station here with a suction hose into the stream, and that would pump into, it would be a 2-inch water pipeline, buried polyethylene black pipe. It doesn't have to be buried deep, because at the end of the season we're going to blow out that pipe anyway, so that there isn't water sitting in there. I'm going to donate a 500-gallon tank to the project. What we would like to do is put that on an elevated platform.
A water tower.
Yeah, so that there's gravity feed for these fields, and then there'd be 10 stand pipes, and it would be built in such a way that it would be easy to expand to any other area of that, just for the cost of pipe. The little stand pipes are not yard hydrants or things, they're valves that will sit in little containers under the ground, so you can open it, but you can close it up if you're going to mow or at the end of the season or something like that. And that would give each plot access to water, and they can use you know, Joan's husband Glenn has got a plot there, and he's using drip tape, which is very effective because you're not really wasting a lot of water. You're putting the water where it's needed. But also, just to get land established, you kind of need a little bit of water to get those crops, especially you see now how hot and dry it is. I think we've spent 7 days in the 90s already, and forecasted to spend about another 4. So it is dry and hot out there. So anyway, that's the proposal of things in the budget that I put together for this project. It doesn't include lumber or labor to build a platform. I'm happy to assist installing a pipeline. I just leave at the beginning of October and I come back in April, so hopefully we can do something whilst I'm here, and I can use some of my equipment to bury a water pipeline.
This is Steve, a quick question for,
Yes.
with the bill of materials you put together,
Yes.
the 5 horsepower pump, is it someone still have to go through and manually start it to refill it every time, or is it?
Yes, but it'll fill in 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Which gives you once again, gives you a capability of adding an extra tank at some stage. You know, so the system would be set up to be able to be expanded if you add 10 more plots to it, or another part of the garden that needs water, like these
Blueberries.
blueberry bushes up on the ridge there. Could lay a section of drip tape down there, and they can get some water, perhaps produce some fruit.
So the 2-inch pipe would just be from the pump to the tank?
Yes.
No, and then it would be the main artery to feed all the standpipes, because if 10 people are using water at the same time, you need that
Okay,
flow capacity.
all right.
How big a tank do you propose?
Well, the one I'm going to donate is similar to the one that's on a trailer there, which is 500 gallons.
Okay.
It's modular, so you could add another 500 gallons at another point, and then that's 1,000 gallons. So the pump would be able to do that. We can get a smaller pump at Tractor Supply, and it's cheaper.
Just
but
wear it
having
out.
dealt with those my whole farming career,
Yeah.
I would say that is a Honda-driven engine on a water pump, and very reliable.
Has anybody ever rigged anything up in the water tank to send a signal to the pump to kick on?
No, because you'd have to have I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
different
pull
battery.
start.
This is a
start,
pull
so-
start.
this is a
right,
pull
so-
start, yeah. So
Okay,
that's what I
pull
was
start,
But
gotcha.
that's good. I have a generator that
Yeah.
I have a remote for it.
So
Not
it
that we
needs a
would do that, but
$10,000
I could figure that one out. A couple of YouTube videos, we get that.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Steve. So, so this here is the permanent solution. I think what we have an immediate need to address too, because Steve, you said you're gonna need that trailer back in the next couple weeks or so. So that means, I think what we have worked out this year by just filling the tank on a trailer and doing it. Steve said he has another 500 gallon tank he could loan us, but we still need a
that's the
trailer
one
to
I
put-
donate to you guys anyway.
Yeah,
So it would be
Could we
yours.
put that tank on our trailer?
well, we can put it on a trailer. The problem is once we put it on the trailer, we
Right.
lose access to that.
What
that
happened to the
trailer.
little trailer that we had?
There's 2 trailers there. There's a little trailer for the DR mower.
Right.
And that is about I'm pulling the number out of the air, but it's not a 5x8. It's smaller than that. It's more like a 4x6.
Is that the heavy duty utility trailer?
Nope, it's the smaller one. It's a little, it's just a small utility
Yeah,
trailer for a
Five by
lawnmower.
8 would fit it. The problem is the 500 gallon tank with.
It's 4,000 pounds.
Filled with water is
Yeah, so-
4,000 pounds.
Why go back to the way you're doing it now? It's labor intensive as it is, right?
No, well, it's gonna take time to put this
Yeah,
together. so
and
we-
it's
we-
it's
yeah.
money. We gotta figure out how we're gonna fund it and
And
everything.
it's
The whole project's probably gonna be about,
$2,500
Yeah.
plus labor.
and then all
That's
the
some-
wood and
You
stuff.
have money in your other funds.
Yeah, but we
But to
need
put it
it in
together.
2 weeks. We're not gonna do that in 2 weeks.
I'm assuming
Unless
that we're gonna use the
George and
water
Fred.
source out of Nessun Brook.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys,
Yeah, I
Say
kinda have a
Say
problem
no.
with that.
Right.
I was gonna
Especially when
fish.
you're talking about a 500 gallon tank that'll probably, last half the summer?
No.
What?
that
No,
doesn't
no,
last long.
yeah, we have a 500 gallon tank now. I've been filling
Yeah.
it 3 times a week.
And how many times a week?
Three
Three
times
times.
a week.
Okay.
Obviously
Now-
not when it's raining, but it's.
That's
How are you
Nessun
filling it up?
We
Raw.
drive it to the fire station and fill it up with a hose.
Drops dramatically
Back, it's on a trailer.
Out
over
of
the summer.
The interior hose?
So,
Yeah, the brook has
It's
been
pretty
used previously before, that field's been farmed before.
It's
There's still the existing,
And
piping.
I'll
that's
just
down there.
mention
hydrant's free.
that I had an irrigation station put up through the NRCS.
Who?
Natural Resource and Conservation Services. So they mapped it out, they did the flow of the Nesson at the lowest point and deemed, and we were doing 5 acres of vegetables irrigated out of the Nesson just past the old railroad buttresses there, and it never ever dried up the stream. It didn't have any issue at all out of there. So, I mean, I don't see that it would that it is an issue of draining the Nesson. I mean, it could be in the future if the spring that feeds the Nesson dries up, but
yeah, I mean, I've seen that brook come down to, in May, of all times, come down to just about not even a trickle.
No, it's.
And
Yeah, there's still flow there, but I mean, that's definitely a
well,
concern.
remember 2 years ago, when we tried to hold the fishing derby and it just about dried up because of the lack of rain. So now you're talking about,
I think you could speak to your friendly fire station and ask them if that was the case, that they could just take their pump truck and fill up the tank
I
once a
think we
week as
could
they
come
go
up with a
past.
plan B.
Yeah.
I mean, a plan B would be to get another side tank that sat on the ground that we put on the trailer temporarily, bring it over to the fire station, hitch it up, and then maybe just dump a pump into that and pump it up to the main tank or something.
I mean, I think that you should just anyway, along the brook there, have a marker station so you know what the level of the stream is.
Good idea.
Like with a snow gauge.
Yeah. And then just measure the stream, because it can, rightfully so, it can get incredibly low and trickle, but there's a lot of water that comes through there, more than 1,500 gallons a week.
I mean, personally, I have some reservations.
Well, what's the option, Harry?
Pardon?
What's the option? That, you know, the,
Drilling a well.
Maybe, go ahead,
drilling a well.
yeah.
But then, you know, you would need probably electricity for or some kind of pump to.
What was the ground, did you just take it, out of curiosity, I don't wanna go down this path when I am, like, did you ever do any tests for wells and like what the groundwater level is?
No, but it would be really hard to do that there, because that is, you'd have to get the state involved in the State Archaeological Society, et cetera, because it's old
Yeah,
Native American.
okay.
Plus, you're pretty much on a sandhill there.
Yeah. I mean, the water table is gonna be down probably even deeper than the stream.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the property wells are like 200 feet in that area.
I try to do a dry well on my farm.
Like a point well?
Yeah, it would know, like a dug well.
Okay.
And we dug down 20 feet and got 5 gallons of water in 24 hours. So, and that's, you know, so, and that's near the way the water flows, and it was tough. So up there, I think it's going to be just harder.
All right, so we'll have to,
So
I think-
what about the middle trail? You said there's a little teeny trail and then there's a bigger one besides the
There
tractor
are,
trailer?
there are two trailers there. There's the trailer that with the DR mower, and that's like 4x6. I don't know if that's gonna fit that big white thing. And then there's another trailer in there, we'd have to talk to the Board of Selectmen, that's been sitting there forever. It's like an army trailer.
The old
But it's-
trash trailer, yeah.
that's.
It's not big.
Yeah, I measured it, and it won't fit. Cause the tank is identical to the one on the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's,
Okay, never
Oh,
mind.
we could talk to, I could give a call to Rich Lascelles. At one point in time, he offered me a trailer that was sitting out in back of his house, and it was one of those two-up snowmobile trailers.
Yeah.
That doesn't have the hood on it. And, I don't know, maybe it's still kicking around in his backyard, rusting away, and
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a different trailer that I could probably let you guys use for the interim. It's just not registered or anything, but you're just going down to the old fire station.
Yeah,
as long as
down
we can
for
get a
the-
half a mile with it.
Right.
Wink, wink.
Saying it out loud.
What's going on, probably?
Edit that out.
That's an inside joke that.
So I mean, it takes a 2 5/16 ball, and it's a heavy-duty equipment trailer. It's not a regular pickup truck will be able to tow it with.
Yeah, I mean, is the trailer's 2,000 pounds or less?
What, the trailer?
Yeah.
No, the trailer is probably heavier than that, but you can just pull it with a regular.
You're not going up any hills.
Yeah.
You just need a new ball.
16.
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's a short-term plan, and I guess you guys will decide on the long-term
It's a 2 1/4 inch ball, you said?
2 5/16.
16.
Oh, that's just the bigger ball,
The
right?
bigger,
there,
yeah.
Standard size.
That's the one that we have for
Yeah.
the tractor, or, yeah, the
I've got
trailer
one of
for the
those
tractor.
3-ball hitch things.
Hmm.
That'd be great if
That'd be
you do
good
that,
for us.
Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, this'll give us some time to properly plan this out and make sure.
Has everybody been down to the community garden?
Yes.
Looks pretty good down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's taking shape there, so that's good. So, if that's all you got for me?
I had two questions.
Okay.
Any issue with permitting and pulling from the stream?
Not to my knowledge, ever. I mean, that would have come up with my natural resource conservation services thing. So they could have changed that now, but not that I know of.
So I have a question. So you're gonna have the pump down by the stream, and it's gonna be the 2-inch pipe, right, all the way up?
Yes.
You won't put it in the ground until you get probably up to the top, or are you
Yes.
planning? Okay, so
Yes.
it would be exposed, and that would drain anyways from there, right?
Yes.
But, so you would be trenching once you got up to the plateau?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you have a trencher?
Yeah, I've got an implement that we can do that. And once again, it's not going to put it down deep. Probably 12 inches.
Okay.
But it's just so that you can mow,
So you can drive over it?
you can drive over it, yeah.
And-
The idea is we don't want to cultivate that. There's certain, with the lease agreement between the town and the Agrarian Trust, New Hampshire Agrarian Commons, is that, you know, we want to farm that land as regeneratively as possible, so we don't want to do deep cultivation or anything to really disturb the soil, because it just brings up more weeds and so on and so forth, so.
I had one more.
Yep.
Do you have any tips or tricks up your sleeve to deal with poison ivy?
Stay away from it.
You just don't focus on it when you're running through it. Yeah,
That doesn't
Tell
work,
that to George.
yeah.
believe me, it doesn't work.
You know, urban myth says that it grows in places that have been disturbed or whatever. Cows, pigs, sheep, goats, everything else eats it. It's just humans that have a thing to it. And it's just, once again, it also grows around soils that are depleted in organic matter. So if you can increase the compost over an area where there is poison ivy, that's the long, slow way, but it's a sure way of limiting it. No quick answer.
All right.
All right, well, great speaking to you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
So, we'll just,
Yeah.
I guess be in touch with me so we can coordinate the trailer swap.
Okay, no problem at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
So, I think we need to figure out a way that we can kind of look at this as a project, see if it makes sense. Also, we have to figure out how we're gonna build that 10-foot platform.
Tower.
I mean, the tower, yeah, I mean, it's gotta hold 5,000 pounds probably, right? 500-gallon tank, so. So I think that'll take us a bit of time, but if we can get, a trailer and keep doing what we're doing now for the end of this year, that'll allow us time to actually plan the project, properly and figure out how we'll.
How big a trailer do you think you need?
5 by 8 would be big enough,
All right,
but it's gotta hold 4,000 pounds of water.
Yeah.
Like with a wood, like, mine could do that. I got a 5x8 and it's got like 2x6 flooring on it.
Yeah.
But I think the one that with a DR, if that was big enough, it's just the
It's too
ones that you get at
yeah.
Lowe's,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
I think it would have I think the axles would fall off.
Yeah, so, I mean, if Steve can give us a
Yeah.
big one, he said he actually has a couple of tanks, so if his trailer's big enough, we could put 2 tanks on it, and that'll
So,
be, less strips
need
to
a
fill it.
5x8 trailer with a wooden floor, right?
Or some kind of,
Yeah, and the
Steel.
tires need to
Heavy
be able to
decking.
hold it. Granted, we're not going far with it, but, you know, some of those smaller trailers are only rated for like 2,000 pounds.
No, the only reason I ask is I keep seeing this trailer for sale over in Londonderry, and I don't know how much they want for it. Let me stop and ask. You know,
but then we don't wanna do that if we're gonna go this route, so if he lends us a trailer for this year, we'd be in good shape. But worth it to ask on that one, just to know.
All right, any more, discussion?
so what about the, master plan for moving the garden sites?
I mean, that's something we'll have to have with a, we'll bring the garden people together, have a
Okay.
separate meeting for that, but yeah, his recommendation is to,
Send
move the sites over. We can spend some time trying to get all the nitrogen levels and
Did-
everything up.
Do
And,
you have
and
an actual cost on what that would cost us?
for, yeah, he has a
Yes, I-
bill of materials that just includes all the irrigation stuff. It doesn't include the tower. Was that, sorry, it never got fully distributed. I held it up.
$2,500.
20,
And then we need the lumber and labor for
Wow.
the tower. So it's not a huge cost, and I think,
No, I kinda thought it would be much higher.
yeah, and that includes the pump he was talking about, all the tubing.
We should see if we can get him back in the spring, well, he's probably really busy in the spring, but, or maybe before he leaves in October, to talk about that no-till option, and, you know, how they wanna keep the
Yeah,
soil.
he's got some good ideas on that, and that's actually where he's, you know, recommending moving the plots and, recommending, yeah, you know, for what vegetation you can put in that'll cover the ground, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can still grow through it
He
and
was
stuff.
telling
It's
Glenn
a
all about
type
what
of
to put
clover.
in, yeah,
So,
clover and then.
I have a suggestion, if you do move the plots, that you put one consistent perimeter fence around it, so that it doesn't look like a shanty town of, you know.
It is
I
a
mean,
community garden.
I know, but these people are, some people are taking great pride in putting in great fences, okay, well, now they sort of own that plot, right? You know, because they've invested money in
Right.
putting in the fences, so it's
Right.
gonna be hard to say, oh, no, you are over on this plot next year, because, you know, so if you have a consistent fence all the way around, it looks the same from the outside, it does, you know, you can then have your dividers inside, you know, but you'll keep your animals out, and it might just look better, just a thought. I just, it looks very nice down there now, but it could get worse.
Yeah, so I'll ask Diane to organize a, community garden meeting, and, we can figure that out from here, but in the meantime, we'll just have to evaluate the design here and discuss if that makes sense.
I think it's a good idea.
We
Yeah.
need to check on that 2-inch pipe, but I'll bring back the information and see if 2-inch pipe is better acknowledged from the gardener that I know.
What, 2 inches better than 3 inches, what do you?
No, 2 inches they thought was too much, that you could irrigate half of the whole place with 2-inch, but I don't know if he realized that it was 2-inch and then bring it up into, to divide it into 10 plots.
Right.
Then if everybody's watering at the same time, you probably would need that force. I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that 10-foot head, is, how much it's gonna be able to push
Right,
those 10 spigots.
10 spigots, right. Okay.
Well, that's why we have that elevation.
Can we make sure it's painted white and stencil Litchfield over it, so we
Yeah.
like, you know, that's our,
Like when you go down to Texas, you know,
Exactly.
all of the water towers have the town name, yeah.
that,
Can we just hang it off the bat house?
all right.
Should be strong enough.
Sure, we should move on. We have,
Put it on the Bat House bypass trail.
By-
All right,
yeah,
moving
move
on.
on.
Okay, Moore's Falls sidewalk update?
Okay, we need to revisit this sidewalk, because, do you have the tax maps in map 22? Do you have,
Yep.
you do? All right.
Maybe we should have kept Reggie here.
No, we probably shouldn't, because it'll probably give him heartburn. Oh, that's, where's the sidewalk?
God, this is slow. Should say latent, there you go.
Okay, two things right off the bat. The sidewalk on, I forget where I was reading it, the sidewalk on the Corning Farm site, he wants us to maintain. Which I thought that was kind of weird. I don't think I have that with me, but I
You
was
know
reading
what
it
we're talking
someplace.
about.
And I did question him on it. And then the other thing with the Moore's Falls sidewalk is, and I probably have mentioned this, or maybe I avoided mentioning it, that when I talked to Fish and Game, she said to get approval is gonna take 2 years. I still don't have a decent map to send them, but I do have some map. Okay, my concern is, should I go up there with the pointer?
I think it was right here.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, I'll just,
map I have, but I need map 22.
okay, there it is.
That's not, what you had before was better, because I wanna show you what.
You want the other one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nope,
Do you realize that
Okay,
this
right there.
guy
back
is the
out a little
same
bit,
guy
right
that's
there.
building over the horse farm?
Okay, so,
No, it's the same contractor.
That's the parking lot, yeah. Is that what you want?
So we can name one.
can you back out a little more?
Mm-hmm.
The total Wilkie one that we were just talking about. And he's
Okay,
also
maybe I take the pointer, go
Yep,
up there.
where's the pointer?
Give it back to him,
There you go.
and that would be.
I bought a gross of those.
A lot of growth of those pointers.
I think I bought a six-pack of pointers. I left a couple here and they're gone.
Select it. Okay, so the problem is, let me get out of the way. It's all over. Okay, here's Moore's Falls. Here's the Corning Farm. And he's going to build a sidewalk to here, and he wants us to maintain it, which I thought was kind of strange. So then, you have sidewalk going across, here's proposed gas station. They have to do a sidewalk. Can you back out more?
Yep. Should go up a little bit.
Okay, and is this?
You wanna go to Rick's,
Where, can you go to Albuquerque?
Yeah.
There's Albuquerque, is it?
and nope, hold on, right
There you go.
there.
Okay, that's good. So then, you have a sidewalk here, here's the gas station, then it stops. Now, Rick said he could get a crosswalk from the state, I don't know where that would be. He owns, Continental Paving owns all this, they don't own this piece, no, they don't own this piece, is the, New England Power. They own all this. So I guess if you did a crosswalk here, he would put the sidewalk here, because you're not gonna be able to put the sidewalk here because of all these houses.
Yeah, Rick had that all figured out.
Oh, he did?
Yep, he, I pretty sure I remember it correctly. It was gonna be on the Moores Falls side, all the way down from Corning Farm, past Moores Falls, past the gas station. At that point in time, his plan was to put a DOT-approved crosswalk to get to the other side of 3A, and then the sidewalk was gonna come down
That down there,
the frontage of his property.
because he owns all that.
Yeah, that's what the,
is a
Is that-
DOT approved crosswalk?
Oh, it's a whole,
He got DOT to say that he could do a crosswalk on 3A, which is quite a,
I think it's gotta have flashing lights, you know, the whole 9 yards.
so the, yeah, the plans,
and you can press a button.
Yeah.
Press.
Where is that, by Edwards?
I think his plan was somewhere around
And this is
after,
Edwards,
after the gas station,
that's the gas.
he was
Okay.
looking to go across the street.
In that area.
it was
Yeah,
on the,
because-
wasn't it on the plans for the gas station?
Wasn't
It's
it
the
what?
empty lot that we're talking about.
This is the gas station, yeah, proposed gas station.
Yeah, it's supposedly a gas station.
Approved, but DOT will someday approve it, someday.
Anyway,
So this is Edwards, so then he would cross, then Rick owns all that,
Yeah.
so, okay.
So what's your?
So then I guess that,
question, Joe?
that makes more sense, because then it is a sidewalk that gets to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Now, the bigger problem is that plan that you showed, that we got from New England, or Reggie did the elevations, I don't think that's gonna cut it with, Fish and Game. They want, first of all, they wanna know what the surface is, they wanna know how wide. Kevin
Okay.
Brown wants at least 90 inches, and he is not gonna go up there and maintain something that's just partially until the whole thing gets built.
Yep.
Makes sense.
So,
So we can talk to Reggie, and he's gotta put the specs in there. He did not, in the plan, he did not, wherever the plan is, it's on one of these tabs. I can't zoom in anymore, I don't think. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I can.
yeah, this plan, if I send this to Fish and Game, they're just gonna not be happy. I know.
So he didn't have the specs. He just says proposed
Right.
sidewalk, and he's got a line there. All right, so we'll talk to Reggie. He's got a, there is, based on what Rick had done before, he developed, I think, some sidewalk specs for that portion, and I think they got included in, I don't know if there was a sidewalk ordinance, and I'm looking at Michael Croto over there. They might have gotten included in the planning board or zoning regulations or something like
I
that.
don't know if the specs did, I know it just said, it says that area, that if it's developed, they have to add a sidewalk. Do you think specs got added? I don't think so.
Pretty sure there were some specs around
Right,
that.
I'll look. That would be good, okay.
But Rick has the specs, like, right up here. If we talk to him, he's gonna spit out the specs pretty quick. I think it's 8 foot wide,
All right,
12 inches of crushed gravel. I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
I'll give Rick a call. Okay. Moving right along.
Agenda. All right, next we have, Dara Pond milfoil update.
all right, so, I wasn't having quite a bit of communication with the people at Arbor Pro for about a month. I finally got back on their radar, and I spoke with them actually this morning, and, yeah, so, he said that he hasn't been avoiding me, they've just been busy, the permit is in the process, he's gotta check 1 or 2 more boxes with, he mentioned whoever the name of the guy was. I said, well, do we have any type of dates? He goes, well, I don't have a date until I get everything done. I said, you know, I'm trying to lock him in, should we give you a deposit or something? And he said, well, not until I know exactly what I'm buying, and so I said, well, when? Do you have a ballpark? And he said, maybe towards the end of the month or August now is when he'd be doing the application. So, seems to be moving along, you know, for a second there, I thought I'd lost him, but, we are in their thoughts and prayers, so, that's all I know. okay?
Good.
Good.
And we, you know, we do have, we've already gone to the selectmen and been approved for whatever that, I think it was like 10 grand or something like, you know, so we are approved to spend the money. And we are approved to take it out of our fund, right? So as soon as I hear back, I'll let you know. He does have all of the abutters. He says, you know, he's gonna have to put it in the paper, make it public, and send all the abutters, the announcement. So he has all the information he needs, he said.
Cool.
Okay.
How much, how do we get them the down payment or whatever we need? What's the,
Well, gives me the invoice and I hand it off to, was it Karen White?
okay.
And she sends the check.
Okay.
Is there a window on when it's optimal to do this? Or, like, if we get into September, should we wait until the next year? Do we know that?
I do not know that. There's a lot of treatments going on right now. I guess they just did, Botanipo, and they just did,
Robinson Pond.
Robinson
yeah.
Pond, and, Solitude, I think, is also doing Mines Falls, like, right around now. So, this might be the time to do it, so. I think you do it while it's still growing, and, so, as long as we haven't started to have, you know, winter kill or something like that, I think it's still gonna be okay.
Yeah, I went on a kayak this week to check it out, and it's pretty thick.
Is it?
How's the paddling?
What's that?
How's the paddling through this stuff?
Oh, yeah, it's,
Yeah,
you can basically get out and walk over it.
How far out is it?
Actually, I think it helped with the pond elevation going up. It's probably like 30 feet, but it's actually clear in the middle now, which is, last year there was, it wasn't. All right, Parker Park Bridge update.
All right, so we've decided that we're going to go with the telephone pole or utility pole bridge. And if we do that, we can now build 2 bridges instead of 1 bridge. So in order to get the ball rolling, we had to find utility poles. So it turns out that the state of New Hampshire does not let utility companies sell their poles to people, okay? So I called all of the utility companies, the small ones, little ones, you know, so they're not allowed to sell them. I did find a place in Carver, Mass, on Facebook Marketplace. Spoke to a guy, they were very reluctant to ship them up here, okay? So the poles are $500 a piece, it's a 30-foot pole. They weigh about 800 pounds each. So I told him, I said, well, you had given me a quote 3 months ago that it would be $1,000 to ship them up here. And he said that, you know, at that time that I should save the money and get my own trailer. We don't really have a trailer long enough. Our trailer is 18 feet, I think, and I have a friend who might have a 22-foot trailer, but I don't wanna be driving my truck with like 30-foot poles down the highway, you know, with a chase vehicle. So anyways, I convinced this guy to deliver them. So, he said he found a local carrier that will deliver this, but only on a Sunday, okay? I guess he's a union guy. He said if I were to deliver this through his business, he'd have to pay 2 union guys mileage and all this stuff, and it would cost us way more than $1,000. So, bottom line, for $3,000, we can get 4 poles, and that will be the foundations for the 2 bridges. We can put them 3 foot apart, have a 4-foot bridge that'll more than adequately carry the load for our footbridges. So we have, what, 17.7 or something like that in the thing. So I guess we're gonna have to go to the Board of Selectmen and to get access to their money. I don't know if it's, you know, our money, the town's money, whose money it is, but if we do have to go to the Board of Selectmen, so that next meeting is in like 2 weeks, I think.
And it may not happen.
That meeting may not
May
happen.
not happen, yeah. If there's nothing on the agenda, we're talking about potentially canceling it.
Okay, so the first day we could have gotten delivery was July 28th. All right, so if we have to wait until the next meeting in order to release the funds, you know, it'll be the Sunday after the next meeting. when we go to the Board of Selectmen, should we go and say, we would like, the money for the poles, and we want the money for the materials,
A not to exceed number.
not to exceed, and it should be not to exceed the amount of money we have in that fund?
Yeah, I think we should request the full project, materials plus,
Right, because that,
covering a
that money in that
contractor.
fund can only be spent on bridges, right? So we're building bridges, we should have full access to that, that's just, I think we're ready to go, we just need to, so I have them lined up, we have sort of a materials cost figured out.
So is that purchase like set in stone, or is
No.
for those poles?
You have a
Well-
pole guy?
I do. So
No, I've been trying to find poles anywhere, yeah.
yeah, so okay, so if that's not set in stone, I have a contact that may be willing to part with some of his telephone poles.
New Hampshire?
Yeah, in Deerfield. So,
Okay.
and that's a lot closer than Carver, Mass.
Yeah.
So, and he'd have probably a way to transport them. So,
All right, so,
and so you said for that whole purchase was $3,000.
yes,
Okay, he'd probably do it for a lot cheaper than that.
I knew it was expensive, these were brand-new poles though as well, so,
Okay, so yeah, these, well, they're brand new. These wouldn't be brand new,
no,
but it's
but
for a
that,
bridge.
they'll still be fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's straight.
Yeah,
I can reach
so-
out and talk to him, see.
we need two 30-footers and two 25-footers, okay? I went with the 4 30-footers because I figured if we needed to go shorter, they were the same cost for 25 or 30. Chainsaw it, and we could possibly use those 5-foot sections as, bridge abutments, if we needed to.
So you said two 30-footers and two,
25s,
Well, if,
Or
maybe we
for-
could still go for 430.
or 4 30s, yeah,
Would be acceptable.
yeah. But you know what I mean, if he only had 2 30s, then, we don't need 4 of them, but,
there's a whole pile.
Back in the stockyard?
yeah, no, I understand.
So I can reach out and see if that's something.
Cool.
That
That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I've called a lot of
What-
people,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, go.
I was
no.
gonna ask, what's the fund, it's the Parker Park Fund, right? Is that's one? Okay.
I think there's 18.6 in there now. Troy Brown, at one point in time, tried to use the money for something else and called the DOT, and they said, nope, it can only be used for
Yeah, I
bridge
think I
and
can tell
relate,
you what's in
related services to building a bridge.
I'll send a note to see if we can get it added to the agenda, and then if it's not, that meeting would be the following one.
Okay, that's great.
Matt, I'll ask, the town administrator to confirm it with you.
George, what we probably should do
Would be-
for like the presentation is, Steve Normanton gave us the okay via email to build those. I probably would just want to send another email to him that's like clean and say, here's our plan. Do you approve us of building this? And then make sure we get the yes back to that so we can like staple that for the file. John, these are gonna go on the easement, so they're actually, it's gonna be Parker Park, but it's actually not on town property. It's actually on Normanton property, which we have an easement, a conservation easement on top of. Per the conservation easement, we're allowed to build bridges, we're allowed to do all this stuff.
Correct.
So I think we got all the bases covered.
Yeah, it would be great if we could get this done this year.
What do you think the total cost of the project's gonna be?
And we've got a
It's
final
on the-
design and
That's right.
all that sort of stuff.
Yep, the design is to throw the 2 phone poles across the brook
Depends on-
and then staple some 2x6s and we're good to go. No,
We've got the location.
Yeah, it's not 10 grand. that's
we do, there's a design.
Oh, you can
There is a
talk about it.
design.
So what I was gonna say is we should have access to the whole 18.6 if we're building 2, and if we come less, so if we say, can we have access to the whole 8, not to exceed that fund, then, we might get one quote for 2x6 pressure treated decking, or if it turns out that we can build the 2 bridges with, man-made Trex stuff, we would never have any maintenance issues on it, and, that may push us up closer to the 18.6 rather than, we don't have a exact figure yet for,
Just come with your slideshow.
yeah, we'll give you one. Do you need it before the meeting?
If you can share with, before the meeting, we'll make sure it's in their portal so they can see it, yes.
Sure. I'll have my AV guy help me with
Yeah.
the presentation.
We'll be good.
We'll help you, don't worry.
Okay.
Maybe even fixed by then, you never know.
I did talk to a local person who builds things, and they said that they could actually build like the decking. It would be, I think, under eight grand. And then the poles.
Right.
I think we're gonna need some brush cutting.
Yeah, and there may need to be a little bit of work to set the poles, right? So, but we do have the tractor, I don't know, you know, setting the poles just a little bit might take a little bit of work, manual labor, but,
Yeah, we got bodies, we got
Yeah.
winches, we'll
Right.
figure out something.
and if anybody
Call those
wants to
things.
take a look at almost exactly what we're gonna be building, if you go into Dara Pond, before you go into the, drive into the gates, there is a 4-foot wide, 22-foot long, bridge that is telephone poles that's been sitting there for years, right? And it looks fine, we're just gonna have railings, on this because we're going over
Before
water.
you go in the gate?
Yeah, it's to the right before you go to, it's like a footpath right there.
Okay.
So, yeah, so, and that is not sitting on cement, foundation or anything, it's just poles on the ground, so. And that's, my plan for these is just, we're just gonna set them so they don't move and put it on, and it's gonna weigh enough, it's not gonna move. And we're above high water, so we'll be fine.
All right, so, John, you'll let us know if we're able to present there, and then
Yep.
we'll figure that out. Anything else on, the bridge?
Nope.
All right, next on the agenda is the Morris Falls signs. I don't think there's been any progress on that. So I guess for one question is we just need to figure out a design for the signs for how to put them up. So we need just,
Well,
I think there's some existing 4x4s in there.
There's one at the entrance that's still intact, so.
Yeah,
Could take a look at that.
yeah, I guess my only concern about that is every other one is not intact, right? So maybe we
Yeah.
need to come up with something that's a little more durable for the design. But that's just something we'll need to
I
take
wonder if
a
they
look
were
at.
sunk in cement, or they must be.
Yeah, I think it's not so much the post, it's how the signage was connected to the
Right,
post that
right,
needs to be
yeah, you're right.
reevaluated.
Okay.
But, all right, so moving on. Next item for getting to other business is for property checks and maintenance. Start off with the Morris Falls trash pickup. So we had someone comment through the portal that they were down by the river, saw a lot of junk and debris, old tires and stuff, down by the river access behind St. Francis on the Morris Falls property. So George and Fred took the four-wheeler and trailer down there and did some cleanup.
Yeah, so John forwarded that message to us on Monday, right, that you received from,
Yeah, it came into the town hall general notice, so
Yep.
then it was forwarded to me on Monday, and I forwarded it to you guys.
right, so I went and looked on Tuesday and, took these pictures, so, these are just some pictures I took, so there's general trash down there, yeah, so this is just some trash in a tree trunk in that sort of area, so go to the next one. So Jeremiah had spent some time and he pulled out these 4 tires, okay, so this is the pile of tires that he said he found. Now, this is at the very south end of our property, it's, almost at the very end of our property, and the river is so low, maybe go to the next one, I don't, okay. So you can see how low the river is here, and that these tires were actually found below the normal water line, but because the water level's so far down, the tires are popping up. So this is looking back at Morris Falls. So we're pretty far below the falls area. Okay.
And the water's low because didn't they dam up north? They shut the dam down for a bit or blocked it up? Yeah, I've never seen a notice about it somewhere. I read it somewhere.
Yeah, that's really low.
They
It's
actually
low.
purposely lowered the river for something they were doing, and I think
Oh.
they're supposed to bring it back up, is what I thought.
I work in the mill yard and my window is right just south of the dam, the Amoskeag Dam. And it's really low right now. You can almost walk across to the islands in the middle of the river and it doesn't happen
Where I am
often.
in Litchfield, as far as the river goes, you could almost walk across to the
Merrimack?
Sauhegan. Yeah, walk across to Sauhegan, that's how
We don't want that
low it
happening.
is.
They can't come
Hey,
across.
George, one quick question.
Yeah.
When you went to the beach area, was it mucky
Yeah.
or clay-like type?
There's always
Was it-
just clay there.
Yeah, there's some muddy muck there, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of areas that are
Spring
sandy,
fed.
and you can see them, but
It is?
below the water line, it's kind
You
of,
can tell there's a spring there, because there's water coming in from the.
Is it like the, I guess the question is it like the boat launch? You know, with
kind
the-
of. We'll show you, yeah,
Okay.
there'll be, so go to the next one here, so you can see that there's another tire above the water line here in the trees, so that one was a really old tire, okay, so these are being floating from, being carried by the current downstream, okay, keep going, yeah, and there was this was a piece of plastic, sheeting or something like that, and some other trash that was, again, at a higher level of the water, got pushed into the trees. And this is like way off of our path. Our path ends, it goes down to the water, and you have to walk along the riverbank in order to see this.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
50 yards down.
Okay, next, yeah. So, also, there was some trash, obviously, you see 4 cans in a row that someone drank them and put them there. That wasn't floated in there, so I just showed that there are people littering. But that wasn't, again, on our trail system. This is, down the river. Okay, go ahead. And here's a couple more tires that were sitting out there. So he had, taken 4 out of the river and piled them, and we ended up finding a total of 8. Okay, so keep going.
One with a rim on it.
Yeah, that's got a rim on it.
Yeah, it's a Honda
Honda.
tire. I've got it in my snowmobile trailer if you want it.
Honda tire?
Yeah, it's a little beat up, but
Oh.
Rim and tire.
go to the next one. So this shows how the water is. So it's a silty, muddy type, or the sand is. And this tire was buried in the sand kind of, and we didn't bring shovels, but we were able to use other implements to get it out. Next.
Oop.
Okay, and this is just looking back, so you can see that this is quite a ways away from the river there. I don't know if in this picture, that's the picture I took on Tuesday. There is a guy, if you zoom in, and then
Can't
go to the
really-
left, there's a guy camping across the river. I have a better picture
Oh,
later.
I-
I
So-
got a comment on that.
Yeah, so,
Right
yeah,
there.
see that, yeah, so, and he was out, I don't know if he was bathing in the river or what he was doing, but he
Yeah.
waved to us and whatnot today, but,
He's
yeah.
been there a while. I fly fish down there quite a bit. He's
Oh.
been there quite a
Yeah.
bit for quite a long time.
Yeah, I've seen
I
it.
think we gotta watch out for that on our side.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There was nobody living on our side. Yeah. So here, okay, the slideshow's almost over. So we dug out that one, with that one tire with some sticks, we didn't have a shovel, but we got it out, okay? Yeah. There's a bald eagle way down there, sitting on the ground, but it was pretty cool,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, right,
right in the water.
right there.
Yeah,
No,
right
no,
there,
no.
yep, bald
Way
eagle.
down.
I should have taken a picture with regular, full
It was
resolution,
in the
but I
water
zoomed in a
fishing.
little bit.
Yeah, I
You
can
can't
see it
really
right there, that.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
Huh.
Story time. Okay, next.
Well, so you guys cleaned up the trash, which is great.
I think
Thanks.
he's, yeah,
But you
progressing.
still have the trash, right? So we gotta figure out a way.
So you bring it to the recycling facility. and it'll
Will
get-
they
it'll be ta-
allow us to bring it in?
Okay, so,
Bring it to the recycling facility, the tires will be taken, we'll take care of it when they open up tomorrow
Okay.
morning at noon.
okay, so go one more, I'm gonna have to go next week though.
That's fine.
So, here you go. Here's the picture. So, rather than bring a trailer down there, we made multiple trips with the four-wheeler, out to, the top of the, Morris Falls. So we tied it down, bungeed it, and had stuff on the back, tires on the front, so, that's 3 tires, yeah. That was just a better shot of the guy across the river. So there's the pile of tires that we took out. So, we found out on Monday, it's resolved on Thursday, so, we're all done.
Very good.
Lightning fast.
Yep. Okay, there you go. Show and
How
tell.
did the trail look going to the beach?
Um,
We need to get the DR.
It's now wider because I drove over with the four-wheeler.
Okay. I
It
usually,
was hitting on both sides.
I usually take the DR down there a couple times a year and just like take 2 passes on the left side and 2 passes on the right side.
Yeah, it's getting, it's
Yeah.
only like,
And there was,
Closing in.
there were branches on the trail down.
Yeah,
Fred
I
did
trimmed
trim some on the way down
with
and
the
okay.
pole saw.
also,
okay, yeah,
Chainsaw.
I noticed that too, it's kind of, we're starting to get a,
Yeah, I'm gonna
Canopy
take
over the
another, I have a trimmer, hedge trimmer. I'll take that down with a steel, I got a.
Oh, okay.
outfit.
Gotcha.
So I'll go down there. When it rains, it's like an umbrella, it comes all down.
Are you talking about the main trail?
the
Yeah.
main trail.
Okay, cause I mowed that
Yeah,
last
you
weekend.
did. It looks good.
And there were some areas where, I didn't know if that was poison sumac or not. I took a
Yeah, it
picture of
was.
it.
It is.
I don't think it's poison sumac. I
It's
think it's
sumac.
sumac.
It's sumac, yeah.
Okay. Cause I didn't wanna go near it. And,
Yeah, and so we were using the electric, pole saw, and that chain is like really dull, so I'll be
well, I was gonna ask, actually, should we get like a hedge trimmer attachment for it, for that sort of stuff, that might work?
I'll do it in the interim.
Yeah, it's just, see how,
Because I
see how your
have one.
attachment works, if it
Yeah.
makes sense, and we should probably purchase one of those.
It works good on stuff like size of your finger.
that's awesome.
Okay.
Very nice.
Kudos.
Cool, and then,
Response team, what do we call you? Tiger team? What do we call you guys?
Fire team. I'll send back to the Jeremiah person, tell him to go see how good it looks.
yeah,
That was good that you
Send them a picture of
responded
the 8 tires.
to him. That was a good memo you sent.
oh, good.
Good job on that.
Any other cleanup down there other than like mowing and just general trimming? Was there anything else?
There's a tree down, a new one.
Oh, I thought I saw one in the distance, a tree down over the trolley track. Was that there?
No,
We did not go past St. Francis.
a maple about 10 or 12 inches in diameter across the path
Okay,
at the northern part of it, trail. I thought I'd go down, and when I'm down there, I'll cut it, open up the path.
On the trailer track?
No,
Trolley track,
below
or
that,
okay,
along
the
the
one
river.
right along the river?
along the river, but it's fresh. It hasn't been there.
Okay, and then the last, real item I had was for the muster field. So where they were doing the archaeological dig, it was reported from several sources that there was actually someone coming in and, looting some of those sites.
Do we have a
So,
time frame when this was occurring?
yeah, we've got the dates of the email, but it was after they were, sunk their holes, so that was what, 6 weeks ago?
yep.
And when they were still doing the actual,
And has that information been
survey.
provided to the police department? Because they are doing an investigation.
I'm sorry, John?
Has that information been provided to the police department? Because they have an open investigation right now for this.
I do not know if it has
We
been, but we
haven't been asked for anything. Did you talk to Stephen Calawa? Because I think he's the guy that knows the specific dates.
All right, well, we'll have the police reach out to Stephen then, because I'm under the impression, so I'm aware there's an open investigation specific to the approval we made, and that's been discounted, I guess, at this point, because that person hasn't been doing anything recently. But there, my understanding from the board's meeting we had, there's an open investigation, the police department's looking into it, because obviously we don't want that happening, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned that it took 6 weeks for it to be bubbled up to the board. Someone should have reported it well before that,
Yeah, I think we reported it as soon as we,
which was just the
as
last
soon
week.
as we saw it, yeah.
But it sounds like someone's been collecting data that has been going on. Well, why was the board or this commission not notified earlier?
Yep.
Because you are the maintainers of the property.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's town
Well, one of
property.
the selectmen had
It was-
talked to the person, and Stephen also had talked to the person.
In 6 weeks ago? Who was the selectman?
I thought, somebody told me that Kevin had talked to or had stopped the person from doing whatever.
Okay. Yeah, the details don't line up to everything that I'm aware of, right?
Well,
But-
the day we found out about the looting, which we found out from Stephen Calawa, is the date that I think that's the first time we knew, and I knew the email went out probably that same day to everybody else.
Send it out immediately.
So the timing is not lining up, because the date of at the last conservation meeting, which is 5 weeks ago, they were actively digging because we showed pictures during
Right,
the meeting.
the professionals, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
so it was around that time, because the professionals were there when the looting was going on, because the professionals noticed the looting. So the looting happened in, I'm guessing, early June, more than a month ago.
And
It was
Kevin,
July
and Kevin
1st.
Lynch spoke to them about what was going on?
That's what I heard. It was July 1st that I got noticed of it.
And we don't know who was doing the looting.
No. And Kevin had mentioned during the Board of Selectmen meeting, the prior one, not this one on Monday, but the one before, that someone was detecting down there at that location, and he went up and he spoke to them.
Well, yeah.
I don't know, it might
I
not,
think I do recall that, but that was when we were approving the ongoing.
could be two different things.
Correct. All right, well, that's, like I said, if Steve Callaway has details, he needs to get it to the police, Chief Jones is expecting something, or Chief Jones is driving this. So I would ask him to do that. And if anybody else had any other timeline or any other evidence that has occurred, it'll help us figure out who this person was or these people were.
The one big piece of evidence is in the report. So the report came out, and I think we sent it out.
Yep, it's been posted on the public
Yeah.
website, so it's out there already too.
I don't think we sent it out to this crew here. But in there's a photo of the looting.
Oh, it's in the portal.
It's right in the report, and there's a picture of it.
Can you send that report?
It's on the portal.
It's on the portal, folder 4.
I happened to talk to the guys who were doing the excavating, the professionals.
Yep.
And they had told me that someone had redug up the site that they had dug up, the day before. I didn't report that, because they told me that it happened, but I just assumed that they wouldn't find anything in a hole that, if they redug in a hole that they had just sifted through.
Right.
What are they gonna find?
Yeah, well, it looked like it was next to
Oh,
where it was, so fresh that hole.
The only other thing on the metal detecting, John, I think we've got to the bottom of it. I think, we had some frustration on here that, permission was granted on quote-unquote our property, it's really the town's property, without notification. I think that's cleared up now,
That
right?
has been cleared up, and I think the mistake, if you wanna call it a mistake, was we were just extending something that was already approved, right? But, in hindsight, and I think we all agreed, we should have fell back on the policy we just approved and kind of went through that whole thing, but it won't happen again, and, the process is, the conservation and rec, the managers of those properties will get a notification when this gets requested. You'll have your opportunity to provide feedback, yay or nay, and I would assume the board would abide by your desire.
Okay. The other thing that I noticed during, I think, the last Board of Selectmen meeting, there was a comment made that Muster Field was now managed by the town. And
The last meeting,
at the last meeting,
you have to, we looked at it again, and Kim Queenan was talking, and then Kim Kleiner was talking, and Kim Kleiner was talking about leased property
Right.
managed by the selectmen. She wasn't talking about Mother Musterfield.
the Muster Field, okay.
Look at it again, it got a little confusing there.
There was a little bit of back and forth,
Yeah,
I think conversations overlapped.
Right,
Okay, might have understood it wrong, but I think from, the way that the metal detecting policy, or just so you know, I think the main properties that we manage on 3A are Moores Falls, the river access, the muster field,
Barker Park.
an asterisk on Parker Park, that actually falls under Rec Commission.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, there was one asked to, make sure the addendum that has all the properties listed, that they have the right responsible parties who are maintaining it, so if it's not correct, we're gonna make sure it's updated, but the policy itself is, I think, is fine.
Yeah, just going back to our charter here, our number one goal is to preserve town character and historic resources, so. So, yeah, it'd be great if we could, when we meet with the Board of Selectmen, just to review this with them, so they make sure they understand where we're coming from. It's not trying to be updating.
And not to belabor this, but it's like, that's why I was concerned when I heard it's been going on for weeks, the looting part of it.
Yeah.
6 weeks is fine. July 1st, that's when the whole stir started. Like, that's 5 weeks earlier it
Yep.
was going on, and no one told anybody, and people apparently saw it happening, and I don't understand why they wouldn't come forward.
Yeah.
On the portal, and I'll send this around, is the report. And actually, the town put a link out to it.
Yep.
I read through this report, and I gotta tell you, it's 75 pages. It's a pretty good report, and we only paid like 14 grand for the study. You get a good bang for your buck here, as someone that does this type of stuff for cities for a living. But in the report, they have all historical background information, and then old maps of the site are in there. The history of the site is in there, additional old maps, but let me get to the bottom here, is they actually have, highlighted in that blue area there is the area that they actually did the dig. And then as you go down through the report here, they did ground penetrating radar, and you can start seeing what they found, and let me just go, there's the hole that they dug, one of them. And then the neat thing is they have this profile drawing here. I think as I go down more, there's a profile drawing in here that shows, there it is, the artifacts they got at the certain levels.
Wow.
And you can see like somewhere up in the 30 centimeter range, they found coins from a coin from the 1700s. Somewhere down there, they found an arrowhead. And it's all mapped out like in a like profile type of form. And then those are the different test bits. There's the arrowhead that they found right there. See that, Harry? Pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a coin that they found. And then there's a hole when you start there's the looting right here.
Yeah, I just saw that.
I mean, as you get down to the bottom, there's a bunch of other stuff in here. It actually has like an Excel spreadsheet of everything that was found and the depth and where it was.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, that wasn't that big of a.
It's not a very big hole.
big
The hole is smaller than a table.
Yeah.
It was smaller than a
Oh,
castle.
look at, there's
Yeah.
maybe more than that. There's probably 10 pages, 10 pages of stuff that they found and documented. All right, enough of that.
No, it's a fascinating report, so.
And which portal is it on?
It is in the folder for property maintenance under the muster field folder.
Okay.
Like I said,
I'll
it's
send a
also
link
on-
out to
It's also on the
everybody.
public website,
Okay.
on the town website, so. It went out on Facebook earlier today, too.
All right, anything else on any of the other, properties? All right, then we can move on to, member input. Rob, do you have any input? Have you been checked out any of the properties? Any comments? How was your first meeting?
It's good so far, so.
So far, we're about half done.
We better be more than half done.
Harry?
Yeah, I got two things. I'm working with UNH about the latest, about the plants for the birds. And my thought, I was gonna try and do it in July, but then I thought maybe a whole bunch of people will be on vacation, so I'll probably shoot, I was thinking more August, September timeframe. People come back from vacation and whatever. Second thing is that, we had talked, or George had talked about maybe having some sort of instruction. And, I'll be getting hold of the Let's Go Fishing program. And also, I'll be getting hold of St. Francis. They have an instructional every year. What I don't know, and I need to contact them, is last year they put out an email and they got 41 responses of kids to learn how to fish. But what I don't know is, was that specifically for St. Francis, or was that just a general email that included Litchfield? If it's, and these are things I don't know. If St. Francis feels that they cannot, or are not, don't want to have a large contingency, and they want to narrow it down just as St. Francis, then we can organize the same thing over here in Litchfield. We can get it organized and all that sort of stuff. And as far as the number of kids, it just depends on how many sign up. The best time to sign up is probably before the next fishing derby, whenever that is. St. Francis had their instructional on May 5th, okay, which was kind of a good time. It could be late April, or it could be, early May sometime. And it kind of just, I'll find out much more information on that, I was just a little surprised that they had that kind of response, so. And I don't know if everybody was aware, this year, apparently, I was under the impression that St. Francis used the beach for their instructional fishing, but that's not true. They have 2 sites on the river that are further down on their property. I'll see if I can find out more information on that. But what happened was, because the river was so high, we used Darrow Pond, and it rained, and the kids could have cared less if it rained. But they were actually catching fish.
Good.
They were all bluegills, but it didn't make any difference to them.
Right.
They were having a blast, so.
Their property doesn't go to the river.
Pardon?
St. Francis property does not go to the river,
Okay.
unless they,
Did anybody hear how the Cub Scout fishing thing went at Darrow Pond?
Yeah.
I did not, that was last night, right?
Well, I just saw your email on, where the Cub Scouts had some sort of event.
Right. I gave them access to the fishing poles. I
Yeah,
actually
no,
haven't gone back to see
No
how they.
problem. That just makes it more intense to try and get some sort of organized training.
Sure,
or-
yep,
Because a lot of the kids want to learn how to do it, and we just don't have the time, or the opportunity, so.
Yeah, well, I think it makes sense to do it along with the fishing derby, maybe the
Well,
Friday
not
night
with the fish,
before.
no, because it's much more intense.
I mean, not at the exact same time
Like
prior
before.
to it, so.
Oh, yeah.
so that
That's
people will know how to
without
catch fish.
Yeah,
That's why I want to get hold of St. Francis, because I thought May 5th was an opportune time
Yep.
to do it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm talking theory now here. So if St. Francis says they want to restrict it to May 5th, there's no reason why we can get something organized the same day. And if they want to use our pond, we'll just say, sorry, no. So let me work on that, and take care of that.
Great.
And then work on the, plants for birds situation.
Sounds good. Anything else, Eric?
No, that's it.
Brad?
Couple things. One is, beware of the campsites for homeless, because Manchester's cut down on the homeless, and they're going out. Goffstown's already had problems with homeless people going onto some of the sites, the trails. So just keep an eye out for that happening, and we noticed it today on the river, on the Merrimack side, not on our side. But just to keep that in mind.
Now, one question, a quick question on that. If we find homeless people there,
Call the police.
do we notify the police department? Because it is now a state law,
Right.
correct?
That what?
That you
That-
cannot camp
It's a
on,
Manchester law, I don't think it's a state.
Manchester.
It's a Manchester law,
it's just a Manchester
I think
law?
so.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then, forget it.
But we don't allow anybody on the properties after dusk
Dusk,
anyway.
yeah.
So the only way to enforce that is have the police
Maybe
department.
we should consider some sort of,
No camping?
yeah,
I think it's on the sign.
Yeah.
I mean, Moore's Falls is the,
It's- yeah,
probably
it's
the place, and
it's a dusk.
there is
Yeah,
a
and
sign
it's-
there.
It says, yeah, open from whatever, dawn
Dawn
to
to
dusk.
dusk, yeah.
Yeah, and enforcement, only enforcement we have is the PD, so.
sorry, Fred.
No, that's no big deal. The parking lot at Moore's Falls, whoever, fixed they did fix the entrance. I just wanted to let them know that, appreciated that. So they put in some fill in there, in the holes.
Must have been.
I brought it up last meeting.
Did you open up a ticket with Highway, no?
We,
Somebody
I
fixed
don't
it.
think, I don't think I opened up a ticket. I said I was gonna
Yeah,
open
we
up a
talked
ticket,
about
and
it,
I
but I
don't
don't
think I
think I
did.
Well, it's
Might
been
have been-
fixed it's better than it was. It's not perfect.
It's not, yeah, it's a little bit better, maybe,
It's,
but
it's better than it was, let's put it that way.
All right, cool.
So whoever did it, thank them. In the birdhouses, when we were down there, I did find that there were 3 active.
Oh, there are?
yes,
Yeah.
they
I'm
are.
about to pull
We
those
saw-
things out, and throw them in the
No.
river.
First, but we're going to check them first.
Yeah, there were 3 different houses that we saw today that they were
We did.
being used.
Oh,
So they are being used, some of them.
Wait till fall, wait till early winter.
Are
We'll
they,
find out.
Okay.
they're kinda in the way of mowing?
yeah,
sorta,
it's a
kinda?
pain. You hit them, you turn
Yeah.
around, you hit them again. In the winter, maybe we'll move them along the
Sure.
edge, a little bit farther off,
But
not in the
they-
middle of where we
was it the
mow.
homeless Manchester birds coming down?
I think they're Merrimack.
No, I thought for sure.
That's all I had.
Probably have sparrows anyway.
I had just 2 quick thing on Moore's Falls. I mowed that. This is the second time this year. We probably gotta get like on a little bit of a mowing schedule on there, probably every 3 weeks. It takes a long time to mow that. It is a 4-hour
Yeah,
door-to-door situation.
Did you do it with a brush hog or the?
Just the regular mower. Yeah, it's big. It's bigger than it looks. And, it takes almost like 5 minutes to just like do one loop, and then you're just kinda doing constant circles.
boy.
We used to have a volunteer with a very big rig that could probably do it in 40 minutes, but he's not available anymore. I went through the database, and I think I mowed it, I think it was 5 weeks ago, somewhere in that vicinity, and it was too long, this second time that I just mowed it, so we gotta probably do it every 3
So
weeks.
could we plant it with like a wildflower mix, or could we officially hay it? Like have someone, maybe it's not big enough to
Yeah,
to
I don't
hay.
know. I don't mind mowing
Yeah,
it
big-
at all. If someone wants to jump in at once, in between there, it's
Sure.
cool. I think it looks good mowed. I mean, when you
Okay.
come down, I think it
I
looks really
trimmed
nice.
the lot out, the
Oh, thanks.
parking lot
All right.
and I went only up to the last tree that was planted
Yeah,
and did under the fence, so it looks really good. Did a good job there.
and then the other thing is we gotta figure out the back of the fire station. We gotta get
Yeah,
that figured out.
Yeah, because, I had to use my trailer today to go down there, put the 4-wheeler on it, put the saws that we needed, whatever, you know, into the trailer. If we could have backed up, you know, we can't even get at the trailer that we have purposed, you know,
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, we
now,
gotta talk to the fire department now that we have stuff moved, and see if we
Yeah,
can
so,
move the
yeah,
boat.
we really should do that.
Yeah, we gotta get the boat up front, the voting trailer is in the middle, you know, we probably gotta push that back a little bit so it frees up a spot. We have enough space in there, it's just.
I know, but we have to do it, you know.
Yeah.
Who's the, we have to get permission to touch the voting trailer, right, to move it backwards?
Terry,
That would be Kevin, yeah.
Or voting trailer, I think you said boating trailer, not voting trailer, okay.
Both.
Well, the
Boat.
boat should
Well,
be,
there's
the
a
boat
boat.
should be in the back.
We're gonna
Yeah,
take
so
the, we're gonna take the
gonna
back.
Move the boat up front, so we can have a drive-through spot for the, it'll make it much more convenient for using the tractor and the trailers that we need.
It's not about your convenience.
Oh, it's all been, we had a big powwow with all the departments and everybody said that was.
Yeah, I did hear that, but I thought the decision was the fire department should pay the back, but whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're gonna take the front now, and
Yeah,
so the
they're
boat's
actually
right
in
front and
favor
center.
of it, so it's easier for them. And puts us in the back where no one can
As
see
long as
us.
everybody's happy.
Yep.
Yeah, Rec had to use the tractor yesterday, and it was, you know, it's, by the time you get in there and pull everything, it's like a 40 minutes just to get the
No
tractor onto the trailer,
Yeah.
and, so hopefully we'll alleviate that.
All right, for input, yeah, I was gonna comment about that too. So we finally got all our gear cleaned up from being spread out all over the fire station. I have it consolidated into the trailer now, so that's good. We just have to finish it with the cleanup and organization there. We also moved all the chairs up and got them out of the way, so there's a lot more room in the Bay Area now. June, do you have anything?
yes, last month I started working on the vertical files, today I spent half an hour and weeded out a lot of stuff, so that's in progress.
Good. Mike, do you have anything?
I do not.
George?
Right, I do have some 2x4s and maybe some plywood, I don't know, at some point I might look at building the shelves or look for input on building the shelves in the front of that trailer. That will allow us to put the, chainsaws and stuff in the front. I think it's pretty simple to do, we can do that at some point. I don't have too much, I've already given my status on everything else.
Yeah,
I
we
do have a-
should probably play with it to see if we can get like the DR mower and the four-wheeler in there and see what
How much room
space we
there,
have
how much
left
room
for
there
putting
actually
the
is.
shelves in.
I do have a full sheet of 4x8, 3/4 inch plywood
Okay.
that you can have. It's probably got $100, it might be PT too. Street value?
Yeah, no kidding.
That's expensive.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanna waste it on that. I've got some scrap,
Okay.
yeah, plywood laying around,
Been sitting in my garage for 3 years. I was hoarding it 2020.
I've got some stuff in a
Would it go
lean-to.
higher?
Yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, so I'm done.
All right, John, do you have anything?
Not anything other than, we already talked about the two topics I had, but obviously, do you have anything for the board that I can take back to the board beyond the request for expenditures?
I know we had the expenditures, we wanted to give them the update on previous,
Yep.
land acquisition discussions. And, yeah, I think you did, and give them the update on, you know, what
Yeah, you got-
our charters and stuff.
Yeah, the charter, okay, and you're also gonna come in with the report and do a readout for them for the report too, right, for the archaeological? Is that Steve Caldwell gonna do that, or?
That's,
Yeah,
Steve will do it?
that'd be
Okay.
Steve.
So I'll let them deal with that part. Okay. Thank you.
All right, with that, the last thing we have is approval of the meeting minutes. So I think we got 2 months since we skipped last time, so we
Right.
actually need to approve May and June meeting minutes. Joan, I saw you had a bunch of comments on
well,
the May meeting
Matt,
minutes.
Matt let me edit them, so he said there wasn't anything that was gonna substantially change anything, so I think, yeah, some of them they're in green. like the non-publics up there in the front, and then on page 3, it says, took out supplies and replaced water, so he does have the, edits in green. And I think it was just like down trees, and we added out the muster field. Picked up trash, and he had at Kurt Schaefer Field, we crossed off that, it was at Moore's Falls. Yeah. And, crossed off fence cleanup, and it was really about the shed, so that was, he got everything. So then we can tell him to accept the.
Which one is that
I
one?
think that's the May.
That was the
2nd.
May.
That was the May?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the May minutes with the following corrections.
Right, the corrections are, that Matt can accept the corrections to the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second
Second.
it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstaining. I wasn't here, so I'm gonna abstain from it.
So is that 600?
601.
01.
601, I'm sorry. And how about June minutes?
June 6th. Oh, I asked him to change Harvey, it's Hervé DeRoche, and he changed that in green, so crossed off Harvey and put Hervé.
What page is that on?
That was the front page.
Okay. So this is for Matt, right? So,
Well, he
what
already-
paragraph, just so if he's listening, so he could
Well, he
pick.
already changed it in the, second paragraph.
Oh, he changed it already?
Yeah.
All right, never
So
mind.
he just has to accept the changes.
All right.
I think that was the only thing.
Joan, I had one other thing for Matt that I just picked up. It is in, bear with me a second, it was the motion for the property. Okay, under page 2, so this is to Matt. Under page 2, the last paragraph where it says motion,
Right,
under where it says public input ended at 7:15.
right.
The second to last line, it says, blah, 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 agreed to portions of the DeRocher Farm property located on lots 632, 635, 636. Matt, we need a dash after the 6, so it should be 6-32, 6-35, and 6-36, located at 157, 158, and 164 Charles Bancroft Highway.
It should actually say located at the lot, at the tax map numbers for the 6, 32, 35,
Yep,
and then, and the street numbers 157, 158, 160. Or it doesn't have to put street number, but 157 is the, at Charles Bancroft.
so let me restate that. So for Matt, property located on tax map lot 6-32, 6-35, 6-36, located at 157, 158, 164 Charles Bancroft Highway.
Right. Okay, good.
Any other comments for, on the June minutes?
I'll make a motion that we accept the June minutes.
As
with the
amended.
Pardon?
As amended.
As amended, okay. I was gonna say with the following corrections, but that's fine.
Do we have a second? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so, actually.
I'm
it's-
abstaining, so.
Michael's
Oh,
abstaining.
okay, so, 601, right?
It takes about 6 months to get that down.
All right, with that, one question, there was some comments earlier that there was something that maybe we should discuss in non-public. I don't know if that's, if anybody has
So
anything.
that was with the selectmen to discuss.
Oh,
Unless somebody else has.
I did have one last thing, Matt, that I forgot to mention. Is that okay?
Oh, yes, but that can be in public, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The DeRocher Farm property, we're gotta do a handful of things over the next month or two. Get a survey, get an updated appraisal, get a title search, and do a phase one environmental assessment, most likely in that order. We're working on a surveyor, 50/50. We've got a appraiser on board, the one that did the appraisal before agreed to do the update.
Okay.
I've got the name of a title search company, coming to us from the state, so we should be able to get that, going pretty soon as well. I've also got a person lined up to do the environmental study that, folks from the state have highly recommended. You see on the map here on the screen, we were able to get the property plans from the DeRochers that actually had a survey previously done. And actually a copy exists in Town Hall, Cecile said. And I plotted the meets and bounds out accurately. And then the little green dots that you see on the map are bounds, either a stone bound or an iron pin. All those stuff is laid out here.
So those exist.
We don't know, I started to go check if they exist, I found one, and then I found poison ivy, and then I turned around. Because if I go 10 feet from it, I'm covered. I built an app, you know, so you can go right out with the phone, and you see the blue dot, and you walk right up to the point, it should be there. Probably gonna, for us to be able to get the surveyor that we would like to get, which is Greg, I don't know, 50-50 at best. We probably would have to locate these things for him to just make it easier. So, maybe if it gets, maybe if there's a day where it's not 100 degrees out and there's a lot of biting things and stinging things and stuff on the ground that wants to get you, maybe we can go out there and maybe take a look.
But I guess, does anybody else have any contacts with any other surveyors in case we have to go to Plan B?
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of contacts.
Good.
I also
High-end
used to-
server, medium survey, you know,
I
like,
used to actually, I used to do survey too.
Oh, okay.
okay, maybe you can help us out and like,
I can probably find the bounds and the pins.
yeah.
So, yeah, I used to do survey, but yeah,
You allergic to poison ivy?
no.
Yeah, I mean,
Alright,
if
so
you,
that's
we have funding to pay for it, we're not asking for a free.
Yeah,
service.
no, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know
But
a
we
few
need
companies.
we need a licensed surveyor.
Yeah, you need a
Are you
licensed surveyor. I'm not licensed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the
Did you
company I
find
used to
that?
work for, yeah, I could probably reach out to them, see how much it would be or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be, great, and we have all the details compiled, so we can give you the package to send
Yeah.
over to them.
And
Yeah.
that should be dead on. Right there is dead on. I found a boundary marker. It's all referenced into the New Hampshire State Plane Coordinate System. We should be able to navigate to those points and be within 3 feet of where they are. I was hoping to find them and, you know, stick a flag down there, just to make it easier for the folks that work.
Yeah, cause
Going
the
out
survey
there.
is probably the biggest gating item, right?
Yep.
That we have now, so, yeah, that'd
Well,
be
then the
great.
subdivision too is gonna be big.
I know a bunch of surveyors as well, but I was trying to hopefully work with the surveyor of choice because he knows the town. He did the the survey next door.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can wrangle him out of retirement.
yeah, it's,
He's loving it, I hear he's loving it up in
Summer.
Bristol, so.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's, yeah, lake life right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pass this over to John.
Matt, did you say we
The
need
email address
non-public?
I don't have anything specific unless
for Rob?
He's already got one.
Oh, he does? Okay. Great.
someone has anything. All right, then
He's
we
ahead
can,
of the game this time.
just, move straight through to, if there's nothing for a non-public, we can just move, straight into adjournment, so. With
I have
that, anybody have anything before we close? All right, with that, thank you, Litchfield, this now closes the,
I make a motion to adjourn.
meeting.
I second it.
All right, we're done, thank you,
No,
Litchfield.
you gotta
All in
vote.
favor?
All in favor of quitting?
Say aye.
Aye.
Can I vote?
Anybody abstain? We good? All right, thank you, Litchfield.
Jason, is this